Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. But how do you stand up the 8th time when your legs are weary and your faith is shattered? Life in its essence is a sequence of unannounced tempests. The samurai and Stoic philosophers understood a ruthless yet liberating truth. We cannot stop the rain from falling, but we can forge for ourselves a body unafraid of the cold. In this video, we will traverse 6 lessons on stillness, honor, and wisdom to see that even when defeat seems certain, plunging into the battle is the only way to awaken from the dreams of life. Do not miss a single minute, for the answer you seek may lie in the final part. Subscribe to the channel so we may walk together on the path of warriors seeking meaning. To the souls currently scarred by the sharp thorns of fate, I write these lines while gazing at a flickering candle in the dark of night. Life in its essence is a sequence of unannounced tempests. We modern humans often labor under the delusion that happiness lies in clear skies and calm weather. But the ancient samurai and the Stoic philosophers understood a ruthless yet liberating truth. We cannot stop the rain from falling, but we can forge for ourselves a body unafraid of the cold and a mind unafraid of the wet. Today, in the role of a Stoic philosopher and under the gaze of Stoic philosophy, let us explore the sayings of the ancient Japanese viewed through the lens of Stoicism. Let us step together into the first quotes. These quotes do not speak of how to conquer an enemy, but of the greatest war of a human life, conquering oneself. There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. Miyamoto Musashi. In Stoic philosophy, we call this the dichotomy of control. Musashi, the great sword. Saint touched upon this truth with the tip of his blade. This statement is a bucket of cold water thrown onto the slumbering face of modern humanity. Society today teaches you that if you are sad, go shopping. If you are weak, hire a trainer. If you are poor, await fortune from the stock market. We are programmed to seek the antidote from the outside. But Musashi asserts that this is hopeless. Modern education often lacks this core lesson: self-reliance. We create generations of weaklings because they always believe that someone, the government, parents, or God will come to save them. The younger generation today often lives differently from their predecessors. Gradually, they are losing their self-reliance. This may be due to the ceaseless development of technology, human progress, the increasing number of robots working in place of humans, government patronage, or the advancement of the era. There are many causes that you and I cannot fully list, but the common denominator is that people I wish to mention the youth of today are becoming lazier, increasingly losing their self-reliance and the will to rise. They depend too much on technology, especially the explosion of AI, artificial intelligence. I have seen men collapse, not because they lost their assets, but because they lost their external support. When the chair of fame was pulled away, they fell because their own legs had never truly stood firm. If you are unemployed, in debt, or suffering from a broken relationship, listen to me. Stop looking out the window. No one is riding a white horse to save you. And that is the best possible news. Because if power lay in the hands of another, you would be a slave. But because power lies within, you are the king of the kingdom of your soul. Start with what you have. Wisdom comes from you reading books tonight, not from a university degree hanging on the wall. Strength comes from you taking a deep breath and stepping forward tomorrow, not from a boss's compliment. You are the gold mine you are searching for. Excavate yourself. If you wish to control others, you must first control yourself. Miyamoto Musashi. This is the golden rule of leadership, from ancient Rome to modern corporations. A general who shouts fire but trembles before his own desires is merely a puppet. In character education, this teaches consistency. You cannot teach children about calmness by shouting at them. You cannot lead employees in discipline if you are always late. The control Musashi speaks of is not the crude suppression of emotion, but the taming of the ego. It's like sharpening a sword. If the steel is not tempered through fire and water, it will break upon impact. Your mind is that bar of steel. I have witnessed big shots running thousands of employees, yet destroying their families simply because they could not control a fit of anger, or losing everything because they could not control their greed. That is the tragedy of giants with feet of clay. Do you feel helpless because no one listens to you? Children rebelling, employees opposing society, looking down on you. Stop blaming them. Look into the mirror. Have you controlled your sleep schedule? Have you controlled your words when angry? Have you controlled your own laziness? True authority radiates from a man who has mastered himself. When you remain tranquil amidst the storm, others will automatically seek you out as they would an anchor. To change the world around you, start by tidying up your own room and your own mind. So what is conquering oneself? Conquering. You must master your own soul. Conquer the selfishness within you. Your flaws are not bad points. They are the levers for you to overcome adversity, difficulties, and obstacles to rise up. Respect Buddha and the gods without counting on their help. Miyamoto Musashi. This saying is often misunderstood as atheism, but in reality, it is the pinnacle of true reverence. Musashi does not tell us to deny the gods. He tells us to deny victimization and the beggar mentality. In education, this is a lesson on responsibility. Praying for the strength to overcome difficulty is faith. Praying for the difficulty to disappear on its own is cowardice. A samurai prays before battle, not for the enemy to drop dead suddenly, but for his own mind to be steady when he swings his sword. The value here is the separation between hope in supernatural forces and action of oneself. I know when adversity strikes, our first instinct is to kneel and beg, "Why me? Please take this pain away." But my friend, the universe or the gods does not operate like a nanny. The gods gave you hands, a brain, and a resilient heart that is already the greatest help. Do not insult that gift by sitting still and waiting for a miracle. A miracle is when you dry your tears, stand up and say, "I thank you for this challenge. I will prove I am worthy of it." Respect fate by fighting it in the most tenacious way possible. A man who does not trust himself can never really trust anyone else. Samurai wisdom. Why do we suspect others? Usually, it is because we project our own insecurities onto them. A person who often lies will always suspect others of lying. A person who does not keep promises to themselves will always fear others breaking promises. The educational value here lies in building character. Self-trust is not the arrogance of beating one's chest and proclaiming, "I am the best." It is the result of a long chain of times you kept promises to yourself. When you say, "I will wake up early," and you wake up early, you place a brick of trust into the wall. When you say, "I will quit smoking," and you do it, the wall grows a little higher. Are you feeling lonely because you trust no one? Or do you feel like an imposter syndrome in this life? That is because you have betrayed yourself too many times. You promised to try, but then gave up. You promised to study, but then scrolled through your phone. Start healing the most important relationship of a human life, the relationship with yourself. Start with extremely small things. Promise to drink a glass of water, drink it. Promise to walk for 10 minutes. Walk for the full 10 minutes. When you can trust yourself, your gaze will change. You will look at others with tolerance and stability, not with the suspicion of the weak. Confidence is not thinking, "They will like me." Confidence is thinking, "Even if they don't like me, I am still fine." Brothers, the first 4 quotes of this self-discipline group are not empty cliches to post on social media. They are the 4 walls of a fortress that you must build starting today. Separate the self from external dependency. Govern yourself before governing the world. Act independently of divine assistance. Build trust from within. Life may have knocked you down. Good. The ground beneath your feet is the very place where you build a new foundation.
Do not fear the darkness, for only in darkness does the flame of internal discipline shine most brilliantly. Take a deep breath. The journey of reconstructing the self has only just begun. The era in which we live is an era of distraction. Never has man surrendered himself so easily. We desire to do everything, to know every piece of news, and the result is that we become shallow and exhausted. The samurai and the Stoic philosophers both understood a rule of survival. To survive, you do not need 1,000 mediocre skills. You need one lethal strike. Do nothing which is of no use. Miyamoto Musashi. It is bad when one thing becomes two. One should not look for anything else in the way of the samurai. Yamamoto Tsunetomo. Does not say, manage your time. He says, do nothing which is of no use. This is radical essentialism. The education of the mind, this is the lesson of identification. You must know what is useful for your life's purpose and ruthlessly cast aside everything else. Tsunetomo adds a hammer blow. It is bad when one thing becomes two. When your mind is divided, wanting both leisure and wealth, wanting to be liked, yet wanting to live authentically, you tear yourself apart. Hesitation is the enemy of action. My friend, it is not because you are doing too much, but because you are doing too many superfluous things. You spend hours scrolling through social media to watch the lives of others useless. You argue with strangers on the internet, useless. You worry about disasters that have not yet happened, useless. Musashi teaches me that life is too short to accommodate trash. If you are facing financial difficulties, any action that does not help you earn money or save money is useless. Cut it out. If you are trying to save a marriage, every word that is not constructive or healing is useless. Swallow it. Have the courage to pick up the shears and prune your life. When you eliminate the superfluous, your energy will automatically concentrate into a powerful torrent. That is when you become dangerous in the positive sense to every obstacle. There is surely nothing other than the single purpose of the present moment. Yamamoto Tsunetomo. Wisdom is nothing more than fixing one's mind on the goal. Yamamoto Tsunetomo. Stoic philosophy and the samurai converge at this point. The present is all we possess. Anxiety is living in the future. Regret is living in the past. Only action takes place in the present. Tsunetomo teaches us the technique of one-pointedness. When drinking tea, just drink tea. When swinging the sword, there is only the path of the blade, no thoughts of death or glory. In modern education, we call this the state of flow. But for the samurai, it was a matter of survival. A second of distraction thinking about tonight's dinner could cost one their very head. If you are drowning in debt or despair, the greatest error is looking too far ahead. You see the colossal debt figure and you are paralyzed. You see the 10-year journey to rebuild your career and you want to give up. Do not look that far. Fix your mind on the purpose of this moment. Right now, what can you do? Send an email, write a page, make a phone call, or simply stand up and wash your face. Do that task with 100% attention. Life is not a long movie. It is millions of short moments pieced together. If you win in the present moment and then win again in the next moment, the final victory will take care of itself. Do not shoulder the whole world. Shoulder only the responsibility of this very second. To know 10,000 things, know one well. Miyamoto Musashi. Modern society glorifies the superficial generalist. But Musashi, a master of the sword, asserted that all things on earth share a common principle, the way. When you hone a skill to the level of mastery, whether it is swordsmanship, making tea programming, or writing, you touch the core of the universe, patience, rhythm, structure, and flow. Understanding one thing deeply helps you possess the sharp mindset to understand everything else. Conversely, knowing 10,000 things superficially only creates a hollow encyclopedia. I often see young people jumping from one job to another, studying one course after another for fear of being left behind, FOMO. But in the end, they hold nothing in their hands that can be called a master stroke. If you are failing, do not rush to learn 5 new skills. Return to your core skill and dig deep into it. Become the best, or at least the most dedicated in your little hole. When the storm comes, the hollow reed will break while the ancient tree with deep roots depth will stand firm. Choose one thing, love it, and temper yourself with it until it becomes a part of your body. Today is victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men. Miyamoto Musashi. You can only fight the way you practice. Miyamoto Musashi. This is the most ruthless wake-up call regarding honesty. You cannot cheat in the training room and expect a miracle in the ring. Musashi erases the boundary between training and actual combat. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you are lazy when no one is watching, you will collapse in front of everyone. At the same time, Musashi offers a path of healthy progress. Compare with yourself first. Internal comparison, then compare with society. External comparison. We often suffer because we compare our chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. You see a friend's luxury car and find yourself pathetic. That is poison. Look at Musashi's saying, today is victory over yourself of yesterday. That is the only measure that matters. Did you read one more page today? Did you control your anger a little better than yesterday? If yes, you are winning. And remember, adversity does not build character. Adversity reveals character. What you demonstrate during a crisis is exactly what you have or have not practiced during peaceful days. If you are stumbling now, do not blame fate. Admit that your previous training process had holes. Admit it not to be humiliated, but to begin a new training process, more serious, more disciplined. Men who are seeking the way. This group of lessons on focus and growth is not a collection of productivity hacks. It is advice on survival. Ruthlessly eliminate what is useless. Live and fight completely in every present moment. Dig deep instead of expanding wide. Treat daily life as the dojo for the great battle. When you do these things, you are no longer a leaf swept away by the wind. You become an arrow splitting the wind, rushing toward the target. Adversity is still there, but now you have weapons. Prepare your spirit. In the next part, we will discuss what every man desires, but few have enough of resilience and courage, how to stand up when your bones are already weary. The modern world teaches us to fear failure. We are taught to be safe, to optimize risk. But the samurai viewed failure and death in a completely different light, not as things to be avoided, but as opportunities to prove one's mettle. This group of lessons does not teach you how to always win. It teaches you how to become mentally unbeatable even when your body and assets have been shattered. Even if it seems certain that you will lose, retaliate. Neither wisdom nor technique has a place in this. A real man does not think of victory or defeat. He plunges recklessly towards an irrational death. By doing this, you will awaken from your dreams. Yamamoto Tsunetomo. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive saying, yet also the most powerful in the Hagakure. Conventional logic dictates, if defeat is certain, give up to save energy. But Tsunetomo says, no charge in. Why? Because calculation renders a man feeble. When you deliberate too much on victory and defeat, you hesitate. And in adversity, hesitation is a death sentence. Plunging recklessly. Here is not stupid suicide, but total commitment. When you no longer fear losing, you become supremely dangerous. You awaken because you have cast off the burden of the outcome, leaving only pure action. Are you standing on the brink of bankruptcy? Is your wife and children about to leave? Does illness surround you? And reason tells you that it is all over, just give up. Do not listen to it. Listen to Tsunetomo. Throw yourself into your problem with the madness of a man with nothing left to lose. Work 20 hours a day. Knock on every door to sell. Apologize to your loved ones 1,000 times. Do not do it because you are certain you will salvage the situation. Do it because it is the only way to keep your self-respect as a man. Often in that very moment,
You disregard the result and fight with everything you have. A miracle occurs. Fate is terrified of those who risk it all. Civilize the mind, but make savage the body. Ancient maxim. Here lies the antidote for the depression and frailty of modern men. We possess minds filled with civilized knowledge, yet we imprison them in weak, obese, and sedentary bodies. This philosophy demands duality. The mind needs stillness, wisdom, and etiquette, civilized. But the body needs friction, pain, strength, and endurance, savage. If your body is weak, your mind will have no sanctuary when the storm arrives. A light breeze makes you sick. A little pressure leaves you exhausted. When my life fell into the abyss, the first thing I did was not read books, but run and lift weights. Why? Because mental pain needs a physical outlet. You cannot think away the sorrow, you must sweat it out. If you are feeling helpless, look down at your body. Are you mistreating it? Start tempering it to become savage. Practice martial arts, take cold showers, run until your lungs burn. Muscle strength and flexibility will create an invisible armor for the spirit. Difficulties will become lighter when placed upon sturdy shoulders. Do not just be a philosopher in an armchair, be a warrior in the gym. To rush into the thick of battle and be slain in it is easy enough. But it is true courage to live when it is right to live, and to die only when it is right to die. Inazo ni Tobi. Inazo ni Tobi, author of Bushido. The soul of Japan touched upon the profoundest depths of courage. Many think that whenever a samurai failed, he would commit belly-cutting suicide. Seppuku. This is a mistake. Death is sometimes a cowardly escape from responsibility. Living on to bear the consequences, living on to correct mistakes, living on in humiliation, to await the day of restoration. That is the hard part. True courage. Stoicism also teaches, as long as you can still contribute, as long as duty is not finished. Self-destruction is a crime against nature. I know there are nights you lie staring at the ceiling thinking, it would be so good if I just didn't wake up. Death or total surrender sounds sweet like a long, dreamless sleep. But my friend, that is the easy enough way. Do you choose the easy way? I thought you wanted to be a man. True courage is waking up tomorrow morning, facing the creditors, facing the divorce papers, facing failure, and saying, I am still here. Enduring pain is harder than fleeing pain. Choose the hard path. Live. Live to see that this pain cannot kill you. Rather, it is chiseling you into a grander statue. Fall down 7 times, stand up 8.
Japanese proverb, if you are not determined to be better than the others, you will never be. Yamamoto Tsunetomo. The proverb, Nana Korobi Ya Oki, is the most concise definition of resilience. The mathematics here is simple times standing up equals times fallen. Just maintain that formula and you never lose. But Tsunetomo adds an important spice: ambition. Standing up is not enough. You must stand up with the desire to ascend. If you only stand up to take another beating, you are a punching bag. If you stand up with the determination that I will be better than the one who knocked me down, you are a warrior. Some tell you to be content with what you have. Do not compare. That advice is good for those who want to settle, but useless for those seeking to escape adversity. You need a little positive fire. Look at those who are more successful than you, those who are laughing at you. Do not hate them. Use them as fuel. Say, I will surpass you, people. Do not be ashamed of the ambition to be richer, stronger, better. That is the motivation for survival. Every time life knocks you down, grasp a handful of earth before rising. Do not stand up empty-handed. Learn a lesson, forge a little more callous. The 8th time you stand up, you will no longer be the same person who fell the first time. Brothers who are bleeding. To speak of metal is easy. To live with it is hard. The 4 lessons from the Resilience and Courage group are: act regardless of the fear of failure. Total commitment. Forge a savage body to house a civilized mind. Have the courage to choose a hard life over an easy death. How many times you fall does not matter. What matters is that the final time you rise, you carry the aspiration for victory, bandage your wounds, stand up straight, breathe into your savage chest. We are not done yet. In the next part, we will enter the highest realm of the samurai and stoicism and detachment. How to keep the soul as calm as a lake, even when the world around is collapsing. We moderns suffer because we desire too much. We want lovers to never leave, assets to eternally increase, and the past to be changeable. But the law of the universe is impermanence. The samurai and Stoic philosophers accepted this flow. They did not swim against the current. They drifted with it, but kept a steady hand on the oar. The sayings I wish to mention to you below will teach you the highest art of mental strength, the power of detachment. Do not regret what you have done. Miyamoto Musashi. Regret is a form of slow suicide. It is the act of using an imagined script. If only I had done differently, to torture reality. In Stoic philosophy, we call the antidote amor fati, love of fate. Musashi, a man who killed and survived dozens of death matches, understood that every action in the past constructed the person of the present. Regret is the denial of oneself. The educational value here is radical acceptance. You cannot drive forward if you keep staring into the rearview mirror. Are you tormenting yourself over a wrong decision made 5 years ago? Over a word that accidentally hurt someone, or for trusting the wrong person? Listen to me, forgive the younger version of yourself. At that time, you did the best you could with what you knew, with your awareness and circumstances then. Do not use the wisdom of today to judge the innocence of yesterday. That is an injustice. Regret cannot change the past. It only steals the present. Pack up that pain bow to it as a harsh teacher, then turn your back and walk away. Do not carry the corpse of the past on your shoulders any longer. Let it go. In all things, have no preference. Miyamoto Musashi. Never let yourself be saddened by a separation. Miyamoto Musashi. These pieces of advice may sound the coldest, but in reality, they contain the greatest compassion for oneself. No preference does not mean having no interests, but rather radical flexibility. If you only like sunny days, you will suffer when it rains. If you only like wealth, you will despair in poverty. The samurai accepts all circumstances equally. When it is sunny, walk. When it rains, drink tea. Separation is an inevitability of human life. All relationships, all possessions are merely borrowed from time. Suffering arises not from separation, but from attachment to the illusion of eternity. Are you in pain because of a breakup? Or because you lost a job, position you loved? I understand that pain. It is as if someone gouged a hole in your heart. But look broader. You are in pain because you think, that thing belongs to me.
And nothing truly belongs to you, not even this body. Learn to love passionately when that person is still by your side, and learn to let go gently when the affinity has ended. It is like holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster the sand flows out. Open your palm. Do not let your happiness depend on the presence of a person or an object. Be a fortress that stands firm, whether people come or go. Serenity in the face of separation is the pinnacle of masculine mettle.
Get beyond love and grief, exist for the good of man. Miyamoto Musashi. When we are immersed in personal pain, the world shrinks to the size of our own navel. Why am I suffering? Why am I sad? Musashi offers an escape service. This is the meeting point between the way of the samurai and Stoicism's sympatheia, the connection of all things. The best way to heal your own pain is to soothe the pain of others. When you live for a purpose greater than the selfish ego, personal love and grief, personal pain suddenly becomes trivial and easier to bear. If you are depressed, my advice is not love yourself, but forget yourself. Go out and help someone. Teach a child to study, help an elder cross the street, or simply listen to the pain of another friend. When you redirect energy from pitying yourself to being useful to the world, you will feel a strange power rise up. You are no longer a victim of emotion. You become a warrior of compassion. A great mission will save broken souls. Do not seek to possess either goods or fiefs for your old age. Miyamoto Musashi. Human life is truly a short affair. It is better to live doing the things that you like. Yamamoto Tsunetomo Society teaches us, sacrifice today to enjoy tomorrow. We work jobs we hate for 40 years in exchange for safety and retirement. Musashi and Tsunetomo laugh at that. They remind us of memento mori. Remember that you will die. No one guarantees you will live to old age to enjoy that wealth. Hoarding too much creates a fear of loss. Living true to passion. The way creates immediate fulfillment. This is not advocating a wasteful lifestyle, but advocating a lifestyle of engagement. Do not postpone life. How many men are straining themselves to carry debt to buy houses and cars for leisure later, while currently their faces are scowling and their souls are withering? My friend, if tomorrow were your last day, would that pile of accumulated assets mean anything? Or would you regret not spending time playing with your children, not writing the book you cherished, not taking the trip you dreamed of? Rebalance. Do not sell your soul for the security of the future. Live so that every passing day is a day you get to do what you cherish. A life short but brilliant, with the fire of passion, is still better than a life long but faint and full of calculated fear. Brothers bearing heavy burdens. This section on Stoicism and detachment is the hardest to practice. It requires you to let go of the ego, let go of control, and let go of the fear of the future. Do not look back at the rearview mirror. Regret. Do not squeeze the sand in your hand. Attachment. Live for others when you are in pain. Service. Do not postpone life until old age. The present. When you can let go of these rocks, you will find yourself weightless. And when you are weightless, you can go very far and climb very high. Ordinary people often mistake wisdom for cleverness, for degrees, for the ability to calculate. But for the samurai and Stoic philosophers, wisdom is the ability to see the true nature of things and the capacity to adapt with fluidity. A rigid oak tree will break in a great storm, but the flexible bamboo will bend itself and survive. This group of lessons teaches you how to become the bamboo, how to become the stream of water.
Fixation is the way to death. Fluidity is the way to life. Miyamoto Musashi. Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye. Miyamoto Musashi. In swordsmanship, if your mind is fixated on the opponent's blade, you will be cut. If you are fixated on the thought, I must block the blow, you will be a beat too slow. Musashi teaches of the state of Mushin. No mind, the mind flowing freely, clinging to nothing. Fixation is death. In life, fixation is when you insist that the world must operate the way I want, or I can only succeed through this specific path. That is a closed mindset. Fluidity is the ability to change tactics instantly when circumstances change. And to be fluid, you must perceive that which cannot be seen. That is intuition, the ability to read the situation, to sense the trend of change before it happens.
My friend, are you suffering because a door has closed? You were fired and you think your career is over because you are fixated on the idea that you can only do that one job. You broke up and you think you will be lonely forever because you are fixated on the idea that only that person could bring happiness. Become like water. If a rock blocks the path, water flows around it. If the crack is small, water shrinks itself. If there is a deep abyss, water pours down as a waterfall. Water never laments because the terrain is treacherous. It simply adapts. Open your eyes wide. Do not just look at the difficulty before your eyes, the visible. Look at the opportunity hidden behind it, the invisible. Today's failure might be a sign from the universe telling you this road is blocked. Turn to another direction. There is treasure there. Do not die of fixation. Live by flexibility. Matters of great concern should be treated lightly. Matters of small concern should be treated seriously. Yamamoto Tsunetomo. This is one of the most profound psychological pieces of advice from the Hagakure. Why should great matters be treated lightly? Because when facing life and death decisions or major crises, fear often paralyzes us. Paralysis by analysis. Treating it lightly. This is just a common occurrence. Helps the mind remain calm to process things lucidly. Why should small matters be treated seriously? Because disasters often stem from small oversights. The butterfly effect. A loose screw can cause a whole wheel to fall off. Treating small matters seriously helps us train in meticulousness and stop trouble in the bud. Modern education often does the opposite. We panic before big things.
and are careless with small things. The samurai teach us to reverse that process, to achieve a state of balance.
Are you facing a major decision? Starting a business, buying a house, moving abroad, and you are trembling with pressure? Apply this teaching. Smile faintly and say, "It is just an experience after all." Reduce its weight. When you fear less, your wisdom functions best. Conversely, look at how you live daily. Do you reply to emails kindly? Do you keep small promises? Do you make your bed? Do those things with the seriousness of a ritual. Greatness is built from millions of small bricks placed neatly. Do not let great ambition blind you to small details, for it is the small details that will save your life.
Truth is not what you want it to be. It is what it is. Miyamoto Musashi. Humans have a tendency to distort reality to soothe the ego. Confirmation bias. We deceive ourselves that she still loves me. The company is still fine. My health is still good. Musashi swings his sword and slashes that delusion to pieces. The truth is objective, cold, and indifferent to your emotions. True wisdom begins with radical honesty. You cannot cure a disease if you deny the test results. You cannot pay off debt if you do not dare to look at the account balance. The bravest thing you can do right now is sit down and face the truth, no matter how ugly it is. Admit that you failed. Admit that you were lazy. Admit that you are not as good as you thought. Does it hurt? It hurts a lot. But that pain is necessary. It is the pain of setting a broken bone. Only when you accept it is what it is can you begin to change it. Stop sugarcoating reality.
Look straight at the monster and you will find it less terrifying than when you flee from it in the darkness of delusion.
It is a good viewpoint to see the world as a dream. When you have something like a nightmare, you will wake up and tell yourself that it was only a dream. It is said that the world we live in is not a bit different from this. Yamamoto Tsunetomo. This is the pinnacle of existential philosophy in samurai culture. It does not mean living irresponsibly, but is a psychological tool, cognitive reframing to reduce suffering. When you view life as a dream, great tragedies suddenly become lighter. This is just a difficult scene in the play. This perspective helps you detach yourself from pain detachment. It helps you observe your life as an audience member rather than a victim screaming on stage. When the burden on your shoulders is too great, when the pain is unbearable, try closing your eyes and imagining all that is happening. The honking horns, the shouting, the bills is just a long dream. One day you will wake up when death comes and smile because you took everything too seriously. Why tremble in a dream?
Why not play the main character in the most heroic way? If this is your dream, turn it into an epic. Do not turn it into a melancholy tragedy. Play this life like a grand game. Dare to risk. Dare to laugh in the face of failure. Because in the end, everything is merely an illusion, a bubble, a shadow. Brothers' wisdom and adaptability are not dry formulas. They are an attitude toward life. Do not be fixated, be fluid. Treat big things lightly, treat small things seriously. Accept the naked truth. View life as a dream to live more bravely. When you possess this wisdom, no prison can confine you, no failure can define you. You are slippery as an eel, powerful as a flood. But strength and wisdom alone are not enough. A man with talent but without virtue is merely a dangerous beast. In the modern world, honor is a word that sounds obsolete. People teach each other how to skirt the law, how to lie skillfully, how to step on others to advance. But the samurai and Stoic philosophers believe to lose wealth is a minor loss. To lose honor is to lose all. This final group of lessons does not teach you how to make money, but teaches you how to be worthy of respect, even when there is not a single coin left in your pocket. A samurai's word is harder than metal. Ancient proverb. In ancient times, samurai did not need to sign contracts. Their word was the law. When they said, "I will do it," the task was considered done, or they would die trying to do it. Today, words have become cheap. We promise and then forget. We commit and then make excuses. The educational value here is integrity. Integrity is the unity of thought, speech, and action. When your word is harder than metal, you create a priceless asset. Trust. In business or relationships, trust is the strongest currency. I know when you are in straits, the temptation to lie is immense. Lying to delay debt, lying to save face, lying to make a sale. But please stop. If you have lost all your assets, do not lose the last thing remaining, your name. When you encounter adversity, the only way for others to help you is if they trust you. If you promise to pay a debt tomorrow, pay it, even if you must sell your own blood. If you cannot pay, go and bow your head in apology before the sun sets. Do not flee. A man who keeps his promises during his hardest times is the most formidable and respectable man. Let your credibility become the bedrock upon which others can lean. From that bedrock, you will rebuild your entire empire. Politeness is a poor virtue if it is motivated only by a fear of offending good taste. Inazo nitobi. This is the sword stroke that tears away the mask of the nice guys in modern society. We often confuse kindness with weakness. Many people appear polite, nodding in agreement to everything. not because they are kind-hearted, but because they fear conflict. That is cowardice, disguised in a shell of morality. The samurai teach that true politeness must stem from the compassion of the strong, benevolence, not the fear of the weak. You respect others because of your own dignity, not because you are afraid they will be angry. Are you living the life of a people pleaser? You dare not ask for debts to be repaid. Dare not refuse unreasonable requests. Dare not speak the truth for fear of offending. And then you go home hugging resentment in your heart. That is not virtue. That is spiritual suicide. When facing adversity, you need decisiveness. Learn to say no.
You learn to draw boundaries. Be polite but firm. Do not let the fear of offending others drown you. A man of character is one who dares to offend others to protect the truth and protect himself. Remember, respect does not come from how low you bow, but from how straight you stand. The ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them. Miyamoto Musashi. This is the greatest paradox of Bushido training in killing skills for a lifetime, only to never have to kill anyone. Musashi, after dozens of death matches, realized that true victory is not taking down the opponent, but the opponent submitting without a fight or avoiding a meaningless battle. True strength possesses the quality of deterrence. When you are truly strong in internal power, wisdom, finance, you radiate a calm demeanor that makes petty people automatically keep their distance, and trivial conflicts naturally vanish. Violence and aggression are often signs of insecurity, not strength. There are times when life corners you and the beast instinct within you wants to roar, wants to retaliate, wants to settle the score with the world. You want to prove to those who looked down on you that they were wrong. But be calm. The lion does not need to growl at the barking dog. Your goal when overcoming adversity is not to return for revenge or to show off. The goal is to achieve freedom and peace. Build your strength in silence. Be so brilliantly successful that you do not need to explain anything to anyone. When you are strong enough, you will become gentle. You will forgive those who harmed you, not because they deserve it, but because you are at a height where hatred cannot reach. That is the ultimate victory. Ultimate. To the fellow traveler, the confidant, I have never met. Modern life may have forgotten these things, but you are not allowed to. Because you are in the storm, and only these ancient principles, tested through blood and fire, can bring you to the safe shore. I do not promise that the road ahead will be paved with roses. No, it will still be full of sharp thorns.
But now you have iron shoes to walk over, thorns armor to cover your body, and the sword of wisdom to open the way. Do not just read these lines once and fold them away. Print them out, paste them on the wall, or carve them into your mind. Every morning when you wake up, ask yourself, today did I live like a samurai? Adversity is the forge. You are the steel. Do not fear the fire. Let that fire temper you into a masterpiece. I wish you legs of stone and a heart of brass. Goodbye, and see you at the summit of glory, the glory of conquering oneself. Miyamoto Musashi once said, "Do not regret what you have done. The past is dead, the future has not arrived. You have only the present moment to build your honor." Live in such a way that every morning when you wake up, you look in the mirror and see a person worthy of respect. Not because you are rich or powerful, but because you dared to live authentically, dared to face the truth, and dared to let go. Do not be a wandering ghost in the dream of life. Be the heroic protagonist in your own story. If this content brought you value, share it with a friend who needs to lift their spirit. Subscribe to the channel to never miss lessons from the ancients. Now turn off the screen and begin acting.